Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be going over my recent updated version of my Fi build. This is something that I've been tuning with the past week. I know I did a Fi deck tech, I'd say about a week ago, I think it was at the time of recording this. But since then I've been playing a lot of games and kind of altering my list based off, what I'm seeing other Fi lists do and like how I think I just overall enjoy playing the hero, but also from a consistency standpoint. Been talking about this a lot in my Discord with some of the people that are in our Discord. So if you want to join, please go to the link down below in the description. We have around 200 members now on the Discord, doing really well. It's really awesome seeing everybody's like thoughts on their different builds. But you don't have to be a Ninja player to go to the Discord. So definitely check it out, regardless of who you play. It's really fun. But yeah, I wanted to get into this. I kind of went, I think a week ago, I talked about like my Kodachi build, and I'm still on Kodachi Fi for sure. I personally think, and I've had people, agree, disagree with me. It's fine. I've had people say Ember Blade is better, and then there haven't been a whole lot of Kodachi list, if any, in the main board that have kind of popped up in like top eights. But I think just people aren't trying it out. Personally, I like Kodachi's because yes, you lose 1 point of damage, but the card advantage that you get with Kodachi's mixed with Phoenix Flames, mixed with stuff like Double Strike, like you're just constantly forcing blocks from your opponent, and it just really gives you an extreme advantage while also still dealing 10, 15, 20 damage in a turn. So I personally, since I switched to Kodachi's in the main board, I promise you I have not felt any difference in power level. If anything, I feel a better power level because a majority of turns I'll lose 1 point of damage, but I'll gain 2 or 3 links depending on how my cards are set up, especially with Brand or Cinderclaw, which we'll get to in a second. So kind of going into the deck, I took a little, the one inspiration I did take from the deck is the White Rice Fi list. He went 9-0 at his RTN. I've been toying with Shuko a little bit, but I hadn't like really settled on how I wanted to run it. And seeing his like 12 yellow, 12 blue list really was like an eye opener for me. And I really kind of took inspiration from that and incorporated that into my list. So kudos to him for having a really awesome tune list. He runs Emberblade in his main board though. He doesn't run Kodachi. So there are some couple fundamental differences in how we run the deck. And what we try to go after. And also I'm running like one or two cards that are different from him, like Burn Away and Rise from the Ashes, stuff like that. So we'll get into that, but definitely credit to him for having a really solid list. So we'll get into the deck. The core ethos of the deck is twofold. One is to still deal significant damage. But the difference that we're trying to do here is we have 9 Brand with Cinder Claws at red, at yellow, and at blue. And we're trying to utilize those to give our Kodachi's Draconic links so we don't have to pay to go get a Phoenix Flame. And really go as wide as humanly possible. I think the most chain links I've gotten to in a turn off of a match draw is 9 links. So I mean, and I've hit 7 to 8 links numerous times. And it just really puts your opponent in a bad spot. Like I think on a 5-card hand, like unless you're Oldheim, I'm going to draw for Mask, unless you just equally dump 1 card from your whole hand every single time, in which case I'm just going to keep leaking through damage anyway. So I'm really not looking for that crazy pop off turn, although I have gotten a couple here and there. What I'm really looking for is just above rate, high value turns that force my opponent to block out and gain card advantage, similar to like a Katsu, where I'm utilizing my Kodachis to gain card advantage, really put my opponent on a 2 or 3 card hand pretty much the whole game, while still leaking through damage. So in order to make that happen, we kind of have to play cards that have a high floor, if it makes sense. And also I'm running Shuko in the main board with Flamescale Furnace because I'm trying not to block a whole lot with cards from hand, but I'm also trying to utilize Shuko's ability as much as humanly possible and really make the most of that. So the first kind of section of the deck is our starters, right? We have 3 Phoenix Flames. It's not really a starter, but it can be technically used as one, but you don't want to use it as that. So we don't count that, but we have 3 Double Strikes, 3 Spreading Flames, 3 Brand with Cinder Claws, 3 Ronin Renegades, 3 Rising Resentments, 3 Melting Angers, and then 2 Burnaways, which I consider a starter. Most of these are pretty standard, nothing crazy here. The 3 Double Strikes is a little different. You don't see everyone running that card. This card, I said on Twitter, I'll say it again, is one of the best in-game cards for Fi. And I don't mean on like cycles or anything, but like when you're both at low life total, having one of these in hand with your Kodachis and like one or two attacks basically guarantees that you're going to attack for 6 times that turn. So if your opponent is getting to 1 or 2 life, maybe even 3 life, they're not going to be able to block everything out. It's just going to be literally impossible. And when you talk about Shuko giving this +1 on its second hit, coming in for 2, it's basically a 0 for 3 go again if you look at it with Shuko. So just really good above rate card in my opinion. Then you have the 2 Burnaways. I like Burnaway. I'm not running Phoenix Form in the deck, and Burnaway to me, I enjoy it because it's a 0 for 4 go again automatic. It blocks 3 if I need to use it. At the very end of a turn, like if I draw it early, because like everybody's response to me is, why do you run this if you draw early and you only have 1 Phoenix Flame engraved? What do you do? Well, I just play the Phoenix Flame, and then I play Burn Away if I need to play it, or I can Arsenal it and just wait till I get my second Flame. Or if I absolutely think I need to play it, Made a Force Mask and push damage, you if you play a Phoenix Flame and then play Burn Away is going to get +1 from Shuko anyway, so it's going to come in for 0 for 3 at the end of the chain. Not like world ending, but it's definitely good. So at worst, this card's coming in for 0 to 3 at the end of your chain and not banishing a Phoenix Flame, so it's still really good. It's basically a 0 for 3 block 3. It's potentially a 0 for 4 off Shuko. It's a 0 for 5 go again. Like it's just a super above rate card. And if your deck doesn't really care about Phoenix Form, I think it's auto include at 1 or 2. I wouldn't run 3 just because I don't want to see his card too often, but I do want to see it at intermittent times where it gives a lot of high value. This section over here is what you call like your conditional go agains or your, I guess, non-starters, right? Blaze Headlong is 0 for 4. It gains go again as long as you've played a red card. My favorite 2-card hand in the deck is Red Rise from the Ashes and the Blaze Headlong. Red Rise from the Ashes, go get a Phoenix Flame, play Blaze Headlong for 7, Arsenal my Phoenix Flame. So I just dealt 7 damage, and I have an Arsenal off of a 2-card hand. It's just pretty nuts. So I enjoy doing that, but this card's just super above rate. I mean, most time it's a 0 for 4 go again off of Rise from the Ashes, a 0 for 7. And it's just really good. Flame Call Awakening is really good. You just want to play it, go get those Phoenix Flames. You want to play it on Chainlink 2 minimum. Because you want to be able to use its effect, but at worst it's a 1 for 3 go again. It's another starter in your deck. So technically, counting the Burnaways, or not even counting the Burnaways, if you don't want to count those, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 technical starters in the deck that have automatic go again no matter what conditions being served. So we're always going to have a way to start our chain, or at least I never want to not pull one of these, so I wanted to make sure I had enough. Then over here we have our Rupture cards because we have Salt. The only Rupture card in the deck I technically have is Lava Burst. It's just the best value Rupture card. Cards like Rise Up, Phoenix Form, Red Hot, all those, they're good. They have a high ceiling, but they have a really, really low floor, and I don't like that. I want to have the constant 0 for 5 go again. You can play this off a 3-card hand. You can technically play this off a 3-card hand even with Kodachis just as easily. Just depends on how you're doing it. So, overall, just really above rate. Salt the Wound in Kodachi builds is the MVP. This card is stupid. When it comes to this build, like, I'd say more than 50% of the time, I'm doing 6 to 7 links a turn, or 6 links a turn, and they're little, like, poke damages, like 2 here, 3 here, 1 here, 2 here, and your opponent's not just going to block them all out. So most time I hit, like, 2 to 3 times before Salt comes up. I can safely say the worst Salt has ever been for me is a 0 for 4. And off Shuko, it's a 0 for 5 because it gets +1. The worst it's ever been, I think, is a 0 for 5 for me, like legitimately. The best I've ever had this come in for is a 9. I was on a 9 link turn or 8 link turn, and they all hit because my opponent was trying to hold their hand, and I drew off mass. I just did some stupid stuff with Kodachis and stuff, and it got +1 off Shuko. So it came in for like 8 or 9. It's just a really good card. If you're running a Kodachi list, this is an automatic include. You can pitch it for Kodachis. It's a block 3, and it normally comes in for minimum 4 to 5. I'd say the average is 5 that this card's coming in for. And one of my favorite snap targets is Lava Burst and Assault the Wound. Play out. You have a 5-card hand. You play it all the way out. Play Lava Burst for 5 on like Chainlink 5. Snap it, play Salt the Wound for like 5 or 6, and you just dealt like 20 damage. It's probably my favorite snap target, to be honest. So yeah, Then we're running our cards that are non-attacks. We're running 3 Art of Wars, obviously, in the deck. Then we run 3 red Rise from the Ashes and 1 yellow Rise from the Ash. The yellow is because I had 59 cards and I didn't know what I wanted to do my one of because I don't run 3 Burnaways. Rise from the Ashes, I went off of it for a little bit, but I came back because the reason this card is so good, people are like, it doesn't count for a chain link. Well, it goes and gets a Phoenix Flame. So that's good right there, right? You don't have to pay for it, especially if you have 2 engrave. It's really nice because you can go get a Phoenix Flame. Then the second Phoenix Flame you get, you can just arsenal it and have it for next turn. Where this card is good that people aren't talking about is because if you think about Fi, right, he naturally deals 4 to 5 chain links a turn, right? Pretty consistently. A really good turn is like 6 to 7 links. As an opponent, if any of you watching have ever sat down against a 5 player, you know that if he has a 4-card hand, let's just say a 4-card hand, he's probably going to come in for like 5 links. You know that, right? No matter what, he's coming in for 5 links. So when I play a Red Rise from the Ashes into like a Blaze Headlong for 7, right? And I still have 3 cards in hand, counting that Phoenix Flame I just went and got, you know that I'm going to attack like 2 or 3 more times, if not 4 more times. So if you block out that 7 Blaze Headlong, I can come in 4 more times. It's going to take 2 cards from your hand or a card from Arsenal card in hand, and I'm still going to hit you 4 more times. So rarely does your opponent, unless they're a guardian, in my opinion, wants to block this out fully on that first attack. Any attack that comes in, right? If I play Brand with Cinderclaw for 6 off Rise from the Ashes, or I play Mounting Anger for 7, or Blaze Headlong for 7, like you don't want to block that initial card because you know I'm going to come in with 4 more links. So more times than not, what I'm finding is when my testing is that first card just doesn't get blocked or they half block it. So it's almost an immediate 4 damage leak off of this card 9 times out of 10. And so that's why I put the 1 yellow one in, because I can get +2 again. And in a pinch, I can pitch it for Kodachis. So I'm technically running 13 yellows in the deck. But yeah, it's the MVP. It really, really creates a really awkward spot for your opponent. I think my favorite target with it, honestly, is Blaze Headlong, obviously, but then like Mounting Anger for 7, banish a Rising Resentment, and then play Rising Resentment for 4, banish a Spreading Flames, price Spreading Flames. I mean, it gets really stupid really fast. And it's just overall really, really good. And yeah, just really good card. Then for our yellows, we have Rising Resentment, Brand with Cinderclaw, similar to the White Rice Fi list. Just really good value yellows for Shuko. Brand is obviously really good to play, and then play Kodachi to give Draconic links. And then we have Art of War. Art of War is very good still, but it's not as strong in this deck because we're not playing Tunic in the main board. But it's still really good. And then we bring in Tunic for like the fatigue matchup. So, it still serves its purpose, and it's really a good card. And then we have our 12 blues. So we're running a cost curve of 12 blues, 13 yellows. Soul Beat Strike. It's just a good 3-block blue that I can pitch for Kodachis that also can attack for 2 on hit go again. Play us off a Shuko. It's coming in for 3. Brand with Cinderclaw, nothing to say there. Lava Vein Loyalty is just a 0-pitch 3-block blue. And then Rising Resentment's really good in a pinch. If I played on Chainlink 2, I mean, you can banish a 1-cost card and play it for free. So that's those. It had to all be 0 cost because of my Kodachis being in the main board, but that's where we're at. Then we have our main board. Mask Momentum's obvious. Snap's obvious. I'm running Shuko because I want to utilize Shuko's ability as much as possible, and it's good block value when it's needed in a pinch. And then Flame Scale. I have found in most matchups that are not fatigue matchups, the 1 resource does not matter. You don't, unless you're a setup deck, you don't need that 1 resource. It doesn't really do anything for you. I'd much rather have the 3 block. And the 3 block has served way more purpose for me than the 1 resource ever did. Yes, there's times where I have Art of War Arsenal. I'm like, man, I wish I had my Tunic counter right now. Yes, there's been times that's popped up, but it hasn't lost me games. If anything, being able to block for 3 has won me games, especially against some of the meta decks right now. You have stuff like Briar being able to block with, one of her cards, like her 4 or 5 power cards, 4 power cards with Furnace and a card is really nice, especially on key cards that she's trying to use. It's really good against other decks, like in the aggro mirrors, being able to have basically a fridge of 2, 4, 6, 7 block on mask technically in late game is really nice. Just overall makes it Fi a little bit more flexible and lets me keep my foot on the gas a little bit easier than Tunic does. Then we're obviously running Kodachis in the main board. In my opinion, the card advantage that Kodachis give is just better than Emberblade. In my like, if you gave me a choice between dealing 6 more damage over the course of a game, which is probably the difference I'm seeing, and I've been doing hand by hand, like writing down testing, most of the time, if I've gone through like 10 games where I've had a little notepad to the right and I've been like, okay, if I had Emberblade, how much would I be dealing? And I keep doing that over and over and over. And most of the time I was fine. On average, it was like anywhere from 4 to 6 extra damage in a game. However, the amount I also tracked, like, all right, how many links would I have done with Emberblade on this turn? And I'm saying that most of the time I was averaging like 5 to 10 more links in a game. And in my opinion, that is better than the damage because I'm forcing more blocks from my opponent. I'm going to force 2 cards out of your hand. That's just my opinion. Then we have the sideboard. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not respecting Wizard right now. I'm just really not. I have Belittle and Minnowism in the sideboard for Icelander. Erase Face is just a good freaking card. Bringing it against Dromai, bringing it against Prism, bringing it against Briar, bringing it against Viscerai. Anybody that has elemental talent is someone I'm bringing it in against, and it's just a good card. The 2 sync blows are for Bravo. Bravo is obviously Fi's hard counter right now, and I'm trying to counteract that as much as I can. The games haven't been blowouts. Like, it's not an auto loss like Oldheim was, but it's always close. It's similar to how the Starfo matchup almost was, where it was like you're almost there, but you just don't quite get it because they take tempo off a big attack. So if I can put these 2 sync blows in, I don't want to put unmovables in because it just takes away too much from what Ninja wants to do. I don't want to pay 3 for them, even in this cost curve deck. So I'm going to use the sync blows, hopefully grab one early, put it in Arsenal, and then a sync below, Flame Scale, and Shuko will block out enough on a Crippling Crush, so I won't get the Crush effect. And also, I can also use it against other attacks. So that's where I'm at with that. And then we have, for the equipment, we have Syrian Emberblade. This comes in against Guardians, just because they can block out my Kodachis a lot easier, and they don't really do anything against those pesky shields and Crown of Seeds. So when it's Oldheim, so Syrian comes in for the Guardian matchups. And Tide Flippers comes in against Viscerai and Briar. And technically Icelander. But it's really meant, like I said, Icelander just right now isn't prominent enough in the meta for me to respect it. I'm not going to lie. And Kano also, like, if I face against a Kano, like, I'll just race him and hope I can win. If I can, I can't. But the odds of me running into a Kano are so low that I'm willing to take that chance. It's just my opinion. Tide Flippers is really good in this deck because you have so many 2 powers that you can use it effectively. Like, it'll give Salt the Wound go again still. It'll give Lava Burst go again still. It technically can give Burn Away go again still. So even Soul Bead Strike. So even like I said, my main snap targets are Salt the Wound and Lava Burst. So when I have Tide Flippers in, it does the same thing. The reason I like running 1 AB against Viscerai, and this is just how I've always approached Viscerai, even when I was a Katsu player, I don't want him to be able to play Meet and Greet for free. If you run no AB against Viscerai, it opens up his play lines and it allows him to play differently. I just like the fact that I have to force his lines to be a little bit more wonky or complicated and less, solitaire-like. Because like I said, if you play no AB, then he can just play a Meet and Greet with 1 rune chant and it automatically gets go again no matter what. And it just opens up his play lines. As minute and stupid as that sounds, that's why I do it. Mask Pouncing Links coming in against Oldheim. It also comes in against Bravo. Depending, if I know it's a really aggro Bravo with like all the attacks, I just keep Mask Momentum to try to keep card advantage. If I think it's a slower Bravo or mid-rangey Bravo, and then also if I think an Oldheim, Mask Pouncing Link comes in, and then Tunic comes in against any fatigue matchup. So Oldheim, Icelander, Dash, will all get Tunic. And I think that's it for those. Icelander, Oldheim, Dash is mainly what Tunic comes in for. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah, this is the list. I'm super happy with it. It's insanely consistent. In the mirror, this list just wins. I would guess I'm around a 70% win rate against the mirror with this list. That's just my opinion. I don't have the exact percentage in front of me, but I've won a heck of a lot more than I've lost because the list is just more consistent than other people's. So I'm not worrying about high pop off turns. I'm worrying about consistency. So hopefully this makes sense to you. Hopefully you enjoy the deck. Definitely try it out. Let me know what you think. I still think Kodachi Fi is better overall than Emberblade Fi, but I also think it kind of depends on the meta. So, let me know what you think. If you did like this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If not me, it's totally fine. Go to our Fleshbug creator. Leave a like, comment, subscribe on their stuff so we can get more people seeing this game. And I will see y'all next time on TCG Talk. Thank you so much.